What's going on, everybody? C4 here, and today we are starting our full 32-team 7-round mock draft. We're not going to waste any time. We're going to jump into free agency for the Cleveland Browns. We're starting from first pick, going all the way to the 32nd pick, and then we'll talk about the guys that don't have first rounders. And what better way to start than laying the framework for my mock draft and analyzing free agency. For the Cleveland Browns, they brought in quarterback Tyrod Taylor, who clearly, in my opinion, is going to be a bridge guy, but can win them some games right now. Wide receiver Jarvis Landry comes in from the Miami Dolphins, probably the biggest fish to land at wide receiver. I think him and Allen Robinson. But he looks like, if reports are true, he's going to play out his franchise tag and reevaluate next offseason. And if that's the case, you can kind of see where I'm going with certain things in my mock draft. But a great slot wide receiver, definitely going to help out that offense. They got Demarius Randall in a trade. He was a defensive back corner for the Packers. I think for the Browns, he's going to move to free safety, which gives you the luxury of making 2017 first-round pick Jabril Peppers a strong safety. So there, you get two positions stronger. They got right tackle Chris Hubbard, who I think they overpaid, but he could probably start right now. Looked good in recovery for Marcus Gilbert when he was out for the Pittsburgh Steelers. They got Josh Gordon back on a one-year deal. Money. They brought in defensive end Chris Smith. They got running back Carlos Hyde, which I'm going to talk about a pick here soon, that it doesn't really spell the end for a certain superstar that the Browns may be looking to address. And they brought in defensive back TJ Carey. You can play nickel, safety, corner, great versatility, and graded it well from Pro Football Focus. They lost to Sean Kaiser. Good luck developing that. Cleveland, they lost Danny Shelton because of scheme fit. They lost Isaiah Correll. Joe Thomas retired, which is a big loss. And they traded Jason McCourty to the New England Patriots. And like Mr. Carey, McCourty graded out well from Pro Football Focus. So they definitely gained more than they lost. And knowing what they gained, let's use that to make our first of 32 7-round mock drafts. So with the first overall pick, the Cleveland Browns will be selecting Sam Darnold, the quarterback from USC. He is firmly going to be quarterback 2 behind Tyrod Taylor. If Tyrod goes down to injury later on, you may need to kind of have a Carson Wentz approach and throw him to the wolves, which isn't ideal because Sam Darnold is definitely not coming off his best season with USC and definitely has some things to work on. But ideally, the Tyrod Taylor trade to me made it pretty clear that this is going to be the pick all along. Dorsey, their new GM, has come out reportedly and said he likes Sam Darnold the most out of all the prospects. I mean, it could be a smokescreen. They could like Baker Mayfield or Josh Allen or something like that. But just Tyrod Taylor makes this first pick to me say they're staying put, they're getting a quarterback, and I think Sam Darnold definitely has a high upside, and sitting behind Tyrod Taylor for 1 year is going to be absolutely the best approach to getting the most out of Sam Darnold and then hand him over the keys in 2019. Finally, a franchise quarterback in Cleveland, question mark. Sam Darnold is, if you look at the next couple years of quarterbacks, in terms of upside, you're not going to get much more of a ceiling higher than what Sam Darnold is going to offer. So that is a good start for the Browns. They're not going to pass on a quarterback again, trust me. Going to pick number 4. Now this is interesting because I think they could trade out. I think if the Buffalo Bills really want to, they're going to try to trade up. This is the pick that you might be able to move out of. Unless something happens with the Giants or maybe some crazy offer comes in from the Cardinals. But I'm not doing any trades in this mock draft because trades are too hard to predict and then just get things funky. So if they stay here at 4, I'm selecting running back Saquon Barkley from Penn State. He's going to be running back 1. This is a mirroring league, which means what works for other teams are going to try to duplicate and replicate. What worked for the Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles? 3 backs, running back by committee. Jaire, LeGarrette Blount, and Corey Clement. All 3 of those guys debatably could start on different teams. We'll just use the Lions. Lions have shit running backs. Debatably, all 3 of those guys could start in the Lions. So, what you're looking at if you're the Cleveland Browns, you have Carlos Hyde, who has, throughout his career, been unable to stay healthy. Can play, for sure. He's a really talented running back, but he can't stay healthy. You got Duke Johnson, who's your receiving back. They had him playing a little bit of slot wide receiver, this and that. Kind of your gadget player. Go out and get the best player. Not only the player that would probably bring the most hype and anticipation, even more so than Sam Darnold, to the city of Cleveland. Get the fans excited, but get a generational running back. He's better than, I love Leonard Fournette. He's better than Leonard Fournette. I love Todd Gurley. He's probably better than Todd Gurley. I love Adrian Peterson. Yeah, I'm not going to say that one, but he's right there. He is in that echelon of the greatest running backs that have been taken over the last decade. You add that with Carlos Hyde, which is going to, you would assume, by relation, help keep Carlos Hyde healthy because he's not going to get as many carries. And then you can work in Duke Johnson for a change of pace, which is already going to be absurd because you already have all the pace you need in Saquon Barkley. This is a great dimension to have the offense for Tyrod Taylor, who's a mobile quarterback, and for the future in Sam Darnold. Not going to have to pressure him into throwing the ball 40 times a game because you have a absolute dog pound. See what I did there? Cleveland Browns dog pound of running backs. Don't mess this up. you get Saquon Barkley. Carlos Hyde does not mean they're not getting Saquon Barkley. All right, so in the second round, pick 33, I'm selecting offensive tackle Colton Miller from UCLA. I think with the hole that Joe Thomas created at left tackle, you bring in some competition. And Colton Miller, now where they're picking at the top end of the second half, you're getting those guys with first-round talents that are just starting to slip. I think Colton Miller with the... It's not a strong tackle class, but with how well he tested at the combine and how his good tape, how good it looks against good competition, I think you definitely could assume he has the type of ceiling that he could replace what Joe Thomas brought to the team. Now, he's not going to be the next Joe Thomas, but for the Browns, who are now in search of a starting left tackle with some upside, I think Colton Miller is definitely worth a chance and to come in and compete with Donald Stevenson and Rod Johnson for that starting tackle spot. Going to pick number 2 of the second round, pick 35, I was selecting cornerback Jaire Alexander from Louisville. When you look at their secondary, I wouldn't be completely surprised if at pick 4, if they're staying put, they may look at a Denzel Ward or a Josh Jackson, because right now their cornerbacks, they have some talent, but like all their good cornerbacks are more suited to play nickel. Terrence Mitchell, nickel. Buddy Calhoun, nickel. Jamar Taylor, nickel. TJ Carey, nickel. Like something like Taylor and Carey can play on the outside, but I think when you look at where they're strongest, you would assume it's nickel. So go out and get a guy in the second round that is a first-round talent, helped himself with the combine, coming off an injury, looks healthy, was very, very productive at Louisville, the best player in Louisville, not named Lamar Jackson, and it was pretty close at some points. You can come in right now in the second round and get a guy that can compete for your starting cornerback spot. That you can't pass that up. You can't pass up, especially with how weak your secondary is. And when was the last time, he's 5'11", right? When was the last time Cleveland Browns drafted a guy that was sub 5'11" with hype? Oh, his name was Joe Hayden. He was an absolute baller. You don't need to get your height, weight, speed guys. When you get height, weight, speed guys and you fall in love with the height, weight, speed, you get a Justin Gilbert. Go with the best ball-playing corner that's available at this spot that can come in and compete for a starting gig, and that is Jaire Alexander. Moving on to the last second-round pick, pick 64. I'm selecting wide receiver DJ Chark from LSU. I think he could come in right away because there's uncertainty with Corey Coleman. His ability to stay healthy, is he going to develop much more than just your classic Baylor, just run straight wide receiver? Get a guy like DJ Chark, who's a combination of Josh Gordon and Corey Coleman. Your big body, 6'3" of Josh Gordon, and then he has the speed, the 4.3 speed that Corey Coleman brings to this offense. I think he can come in, potentially compete and eat into some of Corey Coleman's staff. If not, take that outright and have a Josh Gordon, Chark, Landry starting wide receiver core with Corey Coleman working his way in, which is definitely a good problem to have. So I think here at Cleveland Brown, you help out your offense, you help out Tyrod, and you help out Sam Darnold in the future. Going to the fourth round, pick 101. This is the fourth round where we'll call it your criminal round. Your bad. No, that's implicating things. We're gonna call it your bad boy round. Round 4 is where you can start getting guys and beyond that have some off the field issues, that have some stuff that affected their draft stock, that you can with a good heart say, well, we took a flyer on him and stuff like that. It worked out last year for them when they brought in Caleb Brantley, 6th round from Florida. And he works out. He might be a starting defensive tackle for them this season. I think it was 6th round. So here in the 4th round, they're going with a guy that absolutely balled out at the combine. And it's another wide receiver. And his wide receiver, Antonio Callaway from Florida. Now, a guy like Callaway, I actually wouldn't be surprised. If you get Chark and Callaway could end up being a starter. He is that damn productive. IQ is kind of low, but maybe the transition to the professional game will help him grow up and develop into a man and not hang out with the bad side of Josh Gordon. But what I think here is you got to think long term. You're going to see that a lot throughout all these mock drafts. I'm not just thinking about players that can help right away in 2018. You got to think about the future. And the future of the Cleveland Browns offense is kind of unclear at the wide receiver spot. You have Josh Gordon on a 1-year deal. Who knows if he's going to mess up again? Who knows if he balls out? He might go to a team that maybe he might go to the Patriots, something like that, like a team that can win right now. You look at Corey Coleman. Can he stay healthy? We don't know. You look at Jarvis Landry. If he plays out on the tag, he might ditch next offseason. And that means you're leaving Sam Darnold with nothing at wide receiver outside of Corey Coleman. So in case that happens, you get your cover. You get DJ Chark. You get Antonio Callaway. Guys with upside that probably at some point, unless they get derailed by injury, could start and be starting wide receivers in the NFL. So you get these guys for cover. You have some healthy competition. And if Josh Gordon, because there's a chance that if Josh Gordon plays well and Jarvis Landry plays well, you might be only able to allocate certain cap to sign one of those guys. So there's going to be holes, and these guys here can plug those holes. So forward-thinking picks for the Cleveland Browns. Going to the 5th round, 159, I was selecting defensive end Tyquan Lewis from Ohio State. Would come in and compete for depth right now on the defensive end rotation behind Myles Garrett. And hell, even could put fire on Emmanuel Ogbah's ass. to compete a little bit. Because Myles Garrett, I think when you look at the defensive end competition, Myles Garrett's the only guy that's starting. Everyone else needs to earn their snaps in training camp and in preseason. I think a guy like Tyquan Lewis with a high ceiling coming from a very talented Ohio State team is great for competition. Going to the 6th round, 175, they're going defensive back Cameron Kelly from San Diego State. He adds some versatility. He played corner, he played safety, and that's kind of what you want here in Cleveland. When you start looking at the 6th round picks, looking for guys that could fill in on the final 53, can contribute on special teams. I think a guy like Cameron Kelly adds some versatility, probably better than some of the back end corners that they have. They're currently rostering a lot of corners, according to ourlads.com, that he could probably beat out. So 6th round talent, I think he could have a chance at cracking the final 53, if not landing on a practice squad. But he brings versatility. Versatility is key. And then finish out the draft in the 7th round, 219. I have them going linebacker Dorian ODaniel from Clemson. He's some linebacker depth. He would be their straight-up cover linebacker. When you look at the depth, you know, after Joe Schobert and Kirksey, they don't have a guy that really screams, okay, we're putting this guy in on clear passing downs. I think a guy like Dorian ODaniel, who's worked out at defensive back at times, a little bit undersized, but could come in if they don't want to use Jabril Peppers in that role and help out with some cover spots. Plus, with the athleticism that he has, it's special teams ability. So again, kind of filling a little bit of a niche that they lack at the linebacker spot and bring some special team ability on the back end if he makes the 53. So there you go, guys. That is 7 rounds of the Cleveland Browns mock draft. Let me know what you feel about it in the comment section below if you agree or disagree. Give me your Cleveland Brown mock draft if you want in the comment section. If it's your first time stopping by, don't be afraid to hit that subscribe button. We're going through all 32 teams. You don't want to miss it. Till next time, it's your boy C4 saying peace out.